This month's giveaway, we're giving away a copy of Lego The Lord of the Rings, so if you want to enter, make sure you're subscribed, smash a like on this video, share this video to every single person which you may think may enjoy it, including friends, and also click the giveaway link in the comments and description below so your entry is tracked and we have it. What's up guys, my name is Dean aka the Blue Crusader and welcome back to the channel. In today's top 10 video we'll be taking a look into the top 10 best platformer games of all time. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 10, Pandemonium. Released in 1996 for Windows, PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn, Pandemonium is a unique type of platformer. The game centers on Fargus and Nikki, a Joker and Sorceress characters who accidentally cause destruction to their own town via a spell. The narrative of the story follows your character as you attempt to reach the end point known as the wishing engine, which in theory allows the character to wish the town back to its original state. The great thing about Pandemonium is the characters are so unique in comparison to other similar genre titles, and like Mario, you actually have the option to choose which of the duo you wish to play as during each level. Number 9, James Pond. James Pond Underwater Agent is a platformer released in 1990 for the Sega Mega Drive and the Genesis. You play as the underwater agent known as James Pond, which is clearly a play on words of the popular British crime movie hero, James Bond, which is fitting since the developers behind James Pond are British. The plot behind the game is that the evil Dr. Maybe, which is also play on words of the 6th James Bond book called Dr. No, is taking over the Acme Oil Company, which is an evil corporation, and is filling the entire ocean with toxic matter and radiation. James Pond is hired by the British Secret Service to protect the underwater zones. The game feels like Mario underwater and has everything you would expect of a classic platformer, and then some. Number 8, Kirby's Dream Land 2. Kirby's Dream Land is a Nintendo game originally published for the Game Boy. Released in 1995, the second installment to the original title of the series puts you back into the role of Kirby, one of Nintendo's most popular characters. With 3 new animals which actually help you on your adventure, you journey through Dreamland, battling the evil Dark Matter Force. The goal of the game is to defeat the evil King Day, who possesses the Dark Matter that is corrupting the land. Number 7, Oddworld, Abe's Oddysee. Part of the Oddworld series, Abe's Oddysee is a game that not everyone may have heard of, but it was pretty big back in the day. This game deserves a place on this list mainly for how different and diverse this is in comparison to the standard platformer that's so common in this video's list. Released in 1997 for the PS1, the game also has a Windows release, although it was available for MS-DOS based PCs. The game follows Abe, an alien slave of the race Mudokon, who is captive at the Rupture Farms meat processing factory. He finds out that he and his fellow kin are to be slaughtered at the place, and he decides an escape attempt is the best option. As Abe, you have to save as many of your kind whilst escaping and avoiding enemies such as the Slags. Number 6, Yoshi's Island. Yoshi is a beloved character from the Mario franchise. In fact, Yoshi was so popular that they even decided to make a spin-off in the series called Yoshi's Island, and it's genuinely one of the best platformer games of all time, which is a huge surprise for spin-offs and sequels. Released in 1995 for the SNES and Game Boy Advance, Yoshi's Island is a Nintendo game that focuses on Yoshi, who aids young baby versions of Mario and Luigi in the game. The player, instead of controlling Mario or Luigi in the main games, controls Yoshi, who has to save them from Kamek, a magic Koopa who has stolen them. In the game there are various puzzles, new items and enemies, and you can use Yoshi's abilities such as his tongue, tea, and defeat enemies. Yoshi can even then create eggs from his devoured foes. The game has really stunning 2D sprite graphics and is a great game. Number 5, Crash Bandicoot. Although I was an Xbox player in the older days, from Xbox to Xbox 360, like most people, we had a PlayStation 1. You'll see a lot of titles on this list being PlayStation classics. Crash Bandicoot is one of them, and if I'm honest, the PlayStation was one of the best later consoles for platformers. Crash Bandicoot is a mutant enhanced Bandicoot, a type of marsupial. You play as Crash, who is interrupted by the evil Dr. Neo Cortex, kind of similar in comparison to Dr. Robotnik and Sonic's relationship. Cortex, in the game's story, created Crash and wants to put an end to his creation. The games follow Crash attempting to defeat Cortex and end his plans of world domination, although at times in the series they do have to settle their differences to work together. Number 4. Spyro the Dragon. Spyro is another timeless classic straight from Insomniac Games and Sony for the PlayStation. Spyro was released in 1998, which is pretty early if you think about in comparison when Super Mario Bros. Was released. As a player, you play as a purple infant dragon called Spyro and venture through the Dragon Kingdom to save the other dragons that are under a spell. The game is a fully 3D open-ended platform game, meaning it's a lot less linear than most platformers in the genre. Many of the levels are more complex than similar titles, with levels requiring the use of core abilities of Spyro such as gliding in the air. Number 3. Rayman 2: The Great Escape. Rayman is another popular franchise, and for good reason. It might be one that you remember back in the days of the PlayStation 1 and PS2 consoles. Rayman 2: The Great Escape is perhaps, or at least in my opinion, the best of the Rayman games. Rayman 2, developed by Ubisoft, was released in 2000 for the PlayStation 2. A port of the original that was developed for the N64, Windows PC and Sega Dreamcast originally. In Rayman 2 you explore the Glade of Dreams, a magical world full of robot pirates and creatures. In The Great Escape, Rayman must fight off the invading robo-pirates. The game is not a 2D platformer as most of the other popular titles in the franchise roll, including the original Rayman. It utilises a third-person camera perspective that allows control by the player. The player can collect items called lums, which allow for the discovery of information related to the world in game and the lore and story behind it. Number 2. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic is a timeless gem and one of those franchises that never seems to get dated in the gaming world. The first original Sonic game was released in 1991, a little later than Mario for an example. In Sonic, players control Sonic, who is a blue hedgehog, who has the talent of running at high speeds and spinning into a ball. The platform mechanics to this game come in the forms of large ramps, loops and springs that launch the player to get to the higher ledges or checkpoints. The story behind the game is that Sonic must defeat his arch enemy Dr. Robotnik, or Eggman as he is named. Number 1. Super Mario Bros. Perhaps the most famous title on this list, Nintendo's flagship game Super Mario Bros., I'm talking the first game here, was a remake of the original arcade game Mario Bros. Every non-millennial gamer has or should have played Mario Bros. Personally, I bought a SNES console as a kid from a charity sale and it got me into gaming. I played hours both alone and with my friend playing that game. The console was old, but Super Mario Bros. Still holds up to this day due to its simple mechanics allowing for anyone to play and enjoy it. The game allowed players to control both Mario and Brother Luigi in the multiplayer mode, which required 2 controllers. Unlike the more simple arcade version, Super Mario Bros. Introduced side-scrolling and more complex levels with multiple worlds, terrain, enemies and much more. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and if you disagree with the opinions in the video, definitely let me know in the comment section below. If you want to see more top 10 videos like this and daily gaming videos, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content, and if you want to enter the monthly subscriber game giveaway, which this month is LEGO The Lord of the Rings. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you next time.